Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inside the Business with Bagley, where we meet local entrepreneurs and local business owners and try to get an inside look of what they do. Today we're here with Jason Grubbs of Jason Grubbs Painting. Jason, I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah,
Thank you. To get a little insight into your business, tell us about your business and how did you get started into the painting profession?
Well, I was in college and I was working at a grocery store, stocking shelves, and I heard that there was this painter that was hiring college students. So I was like, anything other than stocking shelves, you know. So
Right.
I did that, and he taught me how to paint, and that was a long time ago. But then recently, just needing to supplement income and you know, stuff like that, I started my business and started just painting rooms. And it's kind of grown from there. So
Yeah. Well, I see you a lot on Facebook, and we'll get to that in a little bit. I'll share your Facebook with people on here. So your business, do you mostly do local business around Indianapolis, or do you travel anywhere in Indiana or outside?
we have traveled a little bit. It has to be the right, you know, job. But
Sure.
Most of our jobs are right here in Indianapolis. Most of them are in the Whitestown, Zionsville area, but we go into Carmel and Brownsburg and
Hendricks County, and yeah, so sort of the west side, northwest side donut area of Indianapolis.
Pretty much, yeah.
Interior, exterior, what percentage? Like, do you do mostly interior work? Do you do exterior work? What?
It's about half and half because you know, we during the summer, you know, we can do all exteriors, but as it gets cold, and we know living in Indiana, you know, we have a lot of months where you can't work outside, so we do a lot of interior stuff there. So it evens out about half and half, I would say.
Obviously, and speaking of exterior work and snow and winter time, but also like right now, rainy season, a little bit here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any, I don't know, as a homeowner, and I wanted exterior work done, is there anything that we need to do for prep wise for you to do exterior work?
On exterior jobs, the biggest thing is just to, you know, try to cut your bushes back.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because a lot of times people's bushes are right up on the house, and that creates a lot of problems for us. So yeah, the biggest thing is cutting their bushes back. On the inside, it's if we're doing interior work, it's putting the pets up.
Yeah.
Because the pets roaming around isn't really good for a paint job, you know. So
I imagine, because that pet might become a different color if it.
Yeah. We've been known to see different colored tails, you know, walking around because they've been in the paint. So yeah.
Well, I can see where on the exterior side, bushes rubbing up against, you know, a newly painted job or something, or like you said, pets running around, or maybe even little kids messing with the walls, you know.
You'd be surprised how many people really don't think about that. But
That's good points. What's the most common reason someone calls for a project?
Most of the time, it's people that have moved into either a new house that just has a flat white, you know, paint on the walls that can't be cleaned,
right.
Or it's people that are getting ready to move and they need they're getting ready to sell their house. They need to, you know, fix some things up, or people just get tired of looking at the same colors, you know, for a long time and say, hey, we need to make a change. So.
Yeah. And when you meet with these customers, what's one thing or a couple things that they want or that you hope they say about Jason Grubbs Painting?
Well, like when we get done with the job, I want people to say, hey, they did what they said they would do. You know, like they stayed with the scope and they finished the job and they were honest and they took care of our property. And you know, the best thing for us is after we do a job, somebody refers us to their friends or whatever. That lets us know that, you know, we did a good job. So.
Yeah, certainly. Are there certain projects that, I don't know, are your favorites to do, or like a house or condo or office or new construction? Do you have like a?
Yeah, I like doing houses, repaints, especially outside, because everybody in the neighborhood that drives by can see.
Oh, that's
That's
good point,
a big difference, and it really stands out. So it really makes you feel satisfied after you do a project like that.
And I think we talked about it. We did. What's one thing or a couple things that someone, if you got a new project coming in, we talked about that. Make sure the pets are up. Make sure the kids are away, and on the exterior, make sure the bushes are trimmed back. So I've tried a DIY project before, painting the house, and I should have called you. But what separates like professional from a DIY job?
Well, there's a lot of things. First and foremost is prep. Like a lot of people think you just put paint on the walls, but it's important that you caulk and patch and sand and everything that needs to happen before the paint goes on. And I think that's what really sets apart those two things. And just we've made every mistake. Like we've learned by making mistakes. So as we make every mistake that a homeowner makes, and that's why it's just sometimes better just to hire it out, because these people have, they're going to save you from having to learn from all your mistakes. So.
Yeah, if you would look at my jobs, I have little splotches of like where the roller touched the ceilings.
Yeah, that's a common one. Yeah,
you can see some streaks in mine where I don't really know why there's streaks. Why would there be?
A lot of times, people who aren't used to painting, they don't put enough paint on their roller, so they're kind of dry rolling is what we call it, and that can cause streaks, or sometimes they push down too hard on the roller on the wall, so the roller, you just basically just need to let it do its work and don't push on it too hard. But those are just little things that might make a big difference.
I'm gonna guess my issue was probably the first one, because I was trying to stretch the paint out as far as it would go without opening another can or whatever.
Having to go buy another can.
Right, are there certain color trends that are popular right now, or maybe not so popular anymore, that what's changing in the painting?
Yeah, what I see the last year or so is just a lot of whites. People are going with whites. They're going with creamy whites instead of the gray color. A few years back everything was gray, and now people are going with whites and neutrals, and it's really looks nice.
I mean, that's what I know. My mom is doing some projects in our house right now, and she's going with the whites. So I know a couple other people, I guess that must be the hot thing to do right now, make it clean and pure. And
some people think that's kind of boring,
right?
White, but it's pretty color when it's all together.
Is there a certain area of the house when you do, like, if I was going to call you in to do a project, is there certain areas in the house that benefit the most out of a new fresh look? Or
in the inside, the open area, where everybody, when you have guests over, everybody sees that, like the living room, the kitchen, all of that. That's if you can't afford to paint everything, paint that way. That's where you spend most of your time anyway. But one thing that people do a lot of times is they get their walls painted, but then they're trimmed, doesn't look good because it hasn't been painted. So I really encourage people, go ahead while you're doing your walls, go ahead and do at least your baseboard. There's the door frames and doors, a lot of times they're okay. They don't get beat up as much as the baseboard does. So, paint the baseboard.
Yeah, if you're going to do the walls, you might as well make everything pop a little bit. So I do have a few random fire questions for you.
Shoot.
So if there was a famous landmark, a famous house, famous person's house that you would like a project in, or do a project, What would that be, or whose house would that be?
Well, I grew up in Tennessee, and I was a big Peyton Manning fan, you
Yeah.
know, and he came to Indianapolis. So if he still has a house here in Indianapolis, I'd love to paint it some.
Well, Peyton Manning is listening to this. Peyton Manning, you need to get a hold of Jason Grubbs Painting.
Yeah.
And
And we
see
can
what we
paint
can
your room orange. Yeah.
So, speaking of, have you done many projects where, like sports rooms or something like that?
Yeah. A lot of times people will, want like the Indiana red color,
Yeah.
or whatever, or Purdue the gold and black.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's popular too for people to do a color drench in a room where, like an office is like a dark green color, the ceiling, the walls, and the trim all the same color.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a trendy thing too.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I'm thinking in my mind, this room that we are changing into an office right now, it has like a dark forest green wall.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want it to be a sports office area.
Yeah, okay.
So I might be
Get
in
the
contact.
wheels turning.
Yeah. So do you prefer a brush or a roller when painting?
Well, it's kind of like a carpenter asking him if he wants a saw or a hammer, because you need both. But
Yeah.
like with the brush, you can do everything with the brush, and with the roller, you can't. You can't get to every
Shit,
bit.
nook and cranny.
Yeah. So I guess if I had to choose one or the other, I'd choose a brush.
Yep.
My grandfather, he used to paint, and he didn't use a roller. He just painted the whole
Oh,
room
really?
with a brush. I guess that's the way they used to do it back
Oh
in
my
the day.
gosh, yeah. And this is a side question, but how many different sizes, like when I go to the store and I go into the paint section, there are so many different sizes of rollers and paint, or brushes and rollers. I mean, yeah.
So the most common roller size is a 9-inch,
Okay.
and they have an 18-inch that a lot of professionals use. But
Sure.
we kind of tend to go with the 9-inch. We're just used to it. We feel
Yeah.
like we can do a better job with the 9-inch. And then with a brush, I usually use a 2.5-inch, like angle brush.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Yeah, and that way I can get tight spots and then cover a lot of ground too. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Last question on the rapid fire questions here. If there's music playing, like if you're on a project and there's music playing, what type of music is playing?
Well, if everybody's kind of getting slow, I'll crank up like classic rock or
Oh,
something,
yeah.
try to get everybody going. But a lot of guys usually listen to their earphones anyway, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it's kind of quiet while we're working because everybody's listening to their own music. So.
That makes sense. Yeah. If for someone that's watching and thinking about updating their home, why should Jason Grubbs Painting be the professional they call?
Well, we have a crew that's experienced. One of our guys has been painting for 30 years, another one 20 years. So we've got the expertise and the experience. We've learned from all the mistakes that people make, and so we're going to do a great job. We're going to do what we say, and we're going to build a relationship with that customer that hopefully will paint for them for years to come, and for their
Sure.
family and everything else. So.
That's fantastic. And if somebody is contacting you or wants to contact you, what's the best way to contact?
Well, we have a website, jasongrubbspainting.com. They can go there, and there's a
Okay.
form you can fill out to request an assessment
Yeah.
of your project. People can call me. I keep my phone with me all the time, and they can call me, they can text me. They can reach out to us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page where they can message us
Perfect.
from there. So
Yeah, and I'll share that information on here following this clip. And I think the form is a great idea, a great way for them to put the information in there.
yeah.
It's usually a little bit quicker on both ends.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'll include this. Jason, anything else you want people to know about Jason Grubbs Painting?
No, nothing. Not that I can think of. We would love to have the opportunity to meet you and talk to your listeners, your viewers,
Yeah.
about how we can help them with their painting project.
Perfect. if you do have a painting project, Jason Grubbs, he's a great guy. Jason, I do also want to say happy anniversary. Yesterday was your anniversary, so happy anniversary.
Yeah, 32 years.
Fantastic, it's amazing. But yeah, if you're looking for somebody professional that's honest, that's going to work with you, Jason Grubbs Painting is a fantastic option. Jason, I appreciate you being on.
Thank you.